Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon Jailbreak HD, and today we have a probably extra long and extra special video in my catching up with the recording I did not do in real time. So this is going to be the CSML Competitive Showdown League majors weeks. I think it's what, 6 through maybe it's 12. I don't even remember. Obviously it'll say it in the title of the video, but yeah, I dropped off recording these after week 5, and that's been quite a while. So all these battles like 2 months ago, at least this one was about 2 months ago, and so they're progressively shorter. But yes, it's been a while since these battles happened, so I'm not going to go super in depth with what I bring, but I will still show you what the sets are and at least talk about them within the realm of this battle, since I'm not going to tell you what didn't come, but I'll do my best. I don't really remember these battles very well, so I might be a little slow with how I'm talking about it, but in any case, let's jump into the first matchup, week 6, is against Ewok and the Charleston Kinglers, and he ended up bringing the Rotom Fan, Hitmontop, Mega Glalie, Shuckle, Bisharp, and Zygarde, while I have the Nidoqueen, Scyther, Megalopunny, Mesprit, brain fart, Snake Thing. Wow, this is a bad start, but I don't care, I'm not recording this again. Superior. Wow, really bad. Yeah, this is a great start. Tapu Fini. So, to look more in depth at what they are, we have a Life Orb, semi, got some offense, but some bulk as well. Earth Power, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Toxic Spikes. We have an Eviolite, Scyther with Aerial Ace, U-Turn, Swords Dance, Roost, with mostly HP investment rather than attack, so I can be bulky and set up. Then there's Mega Lopunny, pretty standard. High Jump, Kick, Return, Power Punch, Quick Attack. Then we have the Mesprit, which is Psychic, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, Stealth Rock, with mostly bulk, but some special attack, so it's not just sitting there. Then we have the Superior with Leaf Storm, Giga Drain, Hidden Power Rock, Synthesis, and the Miracle Seed, which I'm sure you'll see if I brought up more, that Miracle Seed is the item that I generally put on it, so I can just spam Leaf Storm. And it's actually got quite a bit of special attack investment, which I normally do not do. Then we have Tapu Fini, which is tanky, with slightly leaning to Fizz Def, with the Wakan Berry for that electric type moves from the Rotom, because my ground type, while it's not going to be around for the whole time, at least is the thought process with Moonblast, Surf, Nature's Madness, Defog, and Defog is tricky in this situation because of Shuckle and Bisharp. Obviously Webs from the Shuckle, Defiant from Bisharp. Don't want to let it boost, but I'm not too concerned as long as I have the Lopunny. And I don't know if he wants to even get up Webs because of my Superior. So that'll be an interesting dynamic, and also that I could have Taunt on Fini, in all honesty, so if he's not Mental Herb, he might not even try to go for it, but can't really do a lot to my Fini since I set up Misty Terrain immediately, so that's actually what I'm going to lead off with, because that will definitely see where he's at with the Shuckle and does in fact lead with that Shuckle. So I'm going to just throw off a Nature's Madness, see what he wants to do, whether he wants to switch or not. And so I'm able to just defog immediately as it goes for Toxic while I'm still under Terrain. So I think he just forgot about Terrain. So that gives me a free Surf as he switches into the Rotom Fan. So I do have the Clonberry, but now is not the time. So I will switch into my Nidoqueen. He does in fact go for the Volt Switch. It's leftovers, so it leads me to believe that's more defensive, which will be not fun for my Scyther. But I can actually get a T-Spike up now, and because the Misty Surge is going to end, I can potentially poison something else. But since he did bring in a Hitmontop, he's going to get the spin off. But I do get off a solid Earth Power since I am Life Orb boosted. Does a good amount of damage, but not very much in the grand scheme of things. It does get leftovers, but I do need to just chip this down as I can go into my Mesprit and I can actually just threaten out the Hitmontop and set up rocks. So that's fine with me, as I can go straight into my Tapu Fini. It should counter pretty much all Shuckle variants that this could be at this point, since it's a hazard lead. And I can just go for Surf yet again as he actually switches straight into the Rotom. And so I can see that it's gonna kill from this range, so I think that he might switch out, so I'm gonna go for the Defog, but instead he actually goes for Pain Split, so that's a big misplay on my part. That now this, all that damage I did to the Rotom is just gone, and it also made my, my Fini take damage, so it does go for the Air Slash though this time, predicting my Nidoqueen as I switch out, and so I can just go for Ice Beam to hopefully kill it off, but that is not going to happen as he switches into Hitmontop, which gives me the switch into Fini this time, because I'm thinking he might expect my Mesprit, and I do indeed catch the Bisharp as I can go for Surf, do a good amount of damage as he goes for Poison Jab, but it does not kill me. Poison Jab is an interesting move, but makes perfect sense since this is a potential switch in on it, as he switches out as I go for the 2 Moonblast now on this Rotom, since this came in on me, as he can just Air Slash kill me. That's fine, you know, I don't have my Defogger, so webs might come up, but I do have 2 levitating things, or at least in the air, and then also a Contrary Superior, so I'm not too concerned as I go to my Nidoqueen and just go for the Ice Beam. So with him keeping on switching out, I will assume that he's probably not very fast on the Rotom, and I do have some speed on my Nidoqueen, as well as I've shown I have some offensive power since I have the Life Orb. So my T-Spike does stay up because I go for it on the high jump kick, as then I can follow it up with the Earth Power. So now everything will be regular poison, not toxic poison, but that's fine with me. You know, something to help with Zygarde is all I really wanted, as I can double Earth Power the Shuckle as he decides to get up webs. So that is interesting in that Lopunny will get slowed down, however Superior will get sped up. So we'll see if that helps, as goes into the Glalie to take on my Nidoqueen, goes for Freeze Dry, which is interesting. So it shows to be Shadow Ball as it's a special set, so that might be the ice move that it chooses, but it lets me get up rocks. So I'm okay with this, as Mesprit did what it needed to. And this Glalie is really odd set, so I'm not too scared of it since it's special. So I'm actually going to go straight into my Superiors. I can take an Ice Shard if he has it, but especially since he's special, I'm not really concerned, as I can just go for Leaf Storm here. And he switches into Rotom, sacking it off, and now I'm +2 special attack, as well as +1 speed, and I'm at full health. So Bisharp Sucker Punch should not be able to kill me. It does 40, so I can just Giga Drain it, not risk missing, get some health back. Yeah, this is working out perfectly, as it actually should be game, honestly, since Leaf Storm now kills, because I'm at +2, and he must move in a more offensive variant, and then he can go into Glalie. If he has Ice Shard, it probably won't do a whole lot, but doesn't seem to have it since he was a special set. And that is the game, so we do win 4-0, and so that is nice after I mean, I'm sure no one remembers, but if you're watching this, the game before this I did lose, so it is nice to get a win, especially in the manner that I lost that one, missing, getting crit and missing some important moves. But with that, we'll move on to the next week, and I will be right back. And we are back now with week 7 against Bobbert and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So at this point, I forgot to mention my record in the last game, so at this point, coming into week 7, we are now, oh wow, I'm dumb. That was week 7, huh? Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, not re-recording, so that was week 7. This is actually week 8, because at this point now I'm 4-3. So we definitely still want to be winning like we just did, and putting ourselves in the best chance to make playoffs, since only 4 from each conference make it, so that makes it very difficult. And we are bringing here the Nidoqueen, Gastrodon, Megalopunny, Delphox, Tapu Fini, and Celesteela, as my opponent has brought the Scolipede, Landorus, Therian, Megamanectric, Reuniclus, Ferrothorn, and Blaziken. The team in more detail here is Shuckaberry, Nidoqueen, which is mostly specially defensive, with Earth Power, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Stealth Rock, pretty basic coverage. We have Gastrodon with the Rindo Berry, which is physically defensive, Scald, Earth Power, Clear Smog, Recover, pretty standard. We have the Megalopunny with High Jump Kick, Drain Punch, Quick Attack, Toxic. Definitely pretty, I mean, mostly standard except for the fact that no, normal move, or at least no stronger normal move than Quick Attack. We have Choice Scarf, Delphox with the Fire Blast, Psychic, Grass Knot, Trick. And we have Tapu Fini with Kebia Berry, with mostly tanky Moonblast, Surf, Hidden Power, Fire, and Taunt. And then lastly we have Celesteela with the Steelium Z, Flash Cannon, Fire Blast, Giga Drain, Autotomize to potentially sweep. And looking at this team, I don't know what the hidden power is on Manectric, so we'll have to check with that. And because I have both Nidoqueen and Gastrodon, hopefully I won't be caught off guard, whether it's grass or ice or whatever for Nidoqueen, since you can only pick hidden power for one of them. And otherwise maybe just use fire move on Nidoqueen. Other than that, I do need to weaken some things for Celesteela, being mainly the Blaziken and the Reuniclus, but I don't really have great ways of necessarily weakening them, so more realistically I won't be sweeping with Celesteela, but instead maybe I'll try to get to a point where Delphox can finish everything off. And I am going to lead with the Nidoqueen because I don't want him leading off with Manectric and immediately full switching all over me, as well as it prevents hazards in a sense because of the Shuckaberry for Landorus, as well as Flamethrower for Ferrothorn as Ice Beam, but he turns into the Reuniclus, and so then this gives me switch into my Fini that has Taunt, as he actually makes a good play into the Manectric, probably expecting that, as he's going to go for Volt Switch, as I switch straight into my Nidoqueen. And so this time, I'm just going to get my rocks up. I don't want switching to be too often, as his two defoggers usually don't want to carry defog, so we'll see about that, as he just goes straight for Psyshock. As I go into my Fini, since I showed that as my switch in last time, makes perfect sense, as he's going to go for Protect on my Taunt, so he sees my intentions here. And the misty terrain wears off. That shouldn't really matter too much, as I'm gonna just throw off a surf as the Ferrothorn does come in, so I can just go for HP fire. He is Akaberry, unfortunately, and it did 0 damage as well, so he's probably especially defensive as my Finny just goes down. Power Whip crit. I doubt the crit mattered. Obviously I'm not gonna calc it from a while ago, but oh well, crits are no fun, so I can go into Celesteela, go for the Fire Blast. It does some damage to the Reuniclus, but not very much, so I definitely need to weaken this, as I'm gonna go for Flash Cannon and try to maybe weaken him or get Spadef drop, whatever, maybe just see what he wants to do, as he's gonna actually go for Calm Minds. So I am going as then Protect right after, so I can go straight into my Gastrodon, as then it's gonna Protect yet again. Because I really don't have a good response to this at all, since my one thing that can switch into it doesn't really do anything. And he has Protect, so I can't just trick it. So I go for Scald in case he wants to switch out. He does not. That's fine. But I can just clear Smog this. It's not a big deal if he wants to set up, in the sense that I can always just clear Smog. But it is definitely something that I'm going to have a hard time killing. And clearly I did not prep very well for, at least in the sense that I didn't prep for it having Protect. Since it seems like my only really ways to beat it were Taunt and Trick, which I foolishly let the Finny go down, so now it's just Calm Minding up, and I just have to PP stall it, honestly. Like, that's kind of the way, like, until he wants to stop doing this. And so he's trying to protect on my clear Smogs, which is very smart. So he knows, we're both kind of PP stalling each other, as he's going to now switch into the Ferrothorn on my clear Smog. And so this is, a problem. I have to go to Celesteela. It's my best switch in, as he predicts that and just gets his rocks up. And then he also has Protect on this, so it's gonna be annoying, but I just threw off Flash Cannon expecting the switch, and so then now he switches appropriately into the Manectric, but I still have both my ground types, so I'm not really too concerned. So he goes for Overheat, does a good chunk, but that does let me double back into my Mega Lopunny here, but unfortunately I don't have Return, so I do. Okay, I guess whatever I guess I accidentally changed it. My bad. I don't know why I took it straight from my team builder. I thought so. Yeah, so I do have Return. Thank goodness. That makes more sense now. So yes, we're learning as together here how I did and me reliving. But yeah, so I Return, he shows Recover, so has Protect, Calm Mind, Psyshock, Recover, which, so it's just mono psychic coverage, as my returns are doing just under half, so I'm just trying to keep it low. And so he's at +1, and he's at 38%. So I go into my Celesteela. This is basically my chance here to autotomize on the expected Protect, and this is me just kind of last ditch effort here. I have to hope the Z move kills here. It's a roll. And remember, it was being a roll, and yeah, I didn't get the roll. And that's just game over. Like, I can literally just speed this up for you now. That's game over. That was my one shot there, and I didn't get it, so I just did not prep for this, and he was mono psychic. I have a Zoroark on my team, but obviously that's not the most difficult thing to get rid of, so just solid set. I did not see Protect coming. He brought Protect on multiple mons, so maybe that's just something he liked to do and I didn't pick up on that. But yeah, that's a bad 6-0 loss here, where this just kills me. And in this league, they do stop battles at 100 turns, but I had no interest in doing that. It's whatever. I just, at this point, was like, whatever. It's, I'm sure I humored this for a little bit, but then I just forfeited, because it was like, whatever, he can have the 6-0. If I really wanted to, I could stall it out to 100 turns and limit it, but I wasn't really interested in wasting time doing that, so I didn't bother. So after a solid win, we get absolutely demolished, and we're back to 4-4. So I will be right back with the next week's battle. And we are back with week 9, almost said 7 there, week 9 versus Silry and the Tampa Tyranitar, where he has decided to bring the Mega Aggron, the Tornadus Therian, Hydreigon, Darmanitan, Araquanid, and Whimsicott. While I have decided to bring the Nidoqueen, Mega Lopunny, Serperior, Delphox, Lycanroc, and the Tapu Fini. My sets, to be more exact, are Life Orb, Stealth Rock, Nidoqueen. We have Return, Drain Punch, Power Up Punch, Sub, Mega Lopunny. We have Miracle Seed, Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, Giga Drain, Synthesis. Then we have more tanky and not as offensive as the last one that we brought. Another Choice Scarf Delphox, I'm pretty sure that was the most common thing I brought on it, but Fire Blast, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, and Trick this time. Lycanroc with the Lycanium Z, Stone Edge, Drill Run, Accelerock, and Swords Dance, and actually an Adamant nature. So it really packs a punch there. And then we have Tapu Fini, which is fully physically defensive with the Surf, Moonblast, Nature's Madness, and Defog. And the reason we were running Adamant is because if you look at this team, Adamant actually outspeeds everything here, bar, at least, like that would be slower. Except for technically the Hydreigon, but I'm expecting it not to be fully speed invested, so I'm not really too concerned about that. And while he does have webs, I do have the Defog and Tapu Fini, but it is something that I'll have to be aware about. But also, if he does want to defog, does want to put up webs, again, I have Serperior, so similar concept to last time as well. Do you want to speed up my Serperior at the cost of, set up webs at the cost of speeding up my Serperior? While it does benefit by slowing down everything else, though this time everything is grounded on my team. So I definitely need to weaken that Aggron for Lycanroc to have any chance of sweeping. Otherwise, I'm kind of just gonna chip through the team. And so I lead off with the Tapu Fini in case of needing to defog immediately, but also just making sure Darmanitan doesn't get out of control. That's really the main threat. And then also just being able to check Hydreigon off the bat, but I switch straight into my Nidoqueen on the taunt, and then I'm able to go for T-Bolt, as he actually misses the Hurricane, which is, I don't think it would kill necessarily, but it would do a ton of damage, so that just really sucks. As he U-turns out into the Darmanitan, as I try to vary it up, but going for Ice Beam. As he now goes for Flare Blitz, it does 41. I'm pretty sure that's gotta be Band-Aid. Like, jeez, I'm max Fizz Dev, so I go for Surf because this is a freaking threat. I'm not messing around with this. Like, glad to get my leftovers back, but I really cannot switch into that. Like, that's a big problem now that I'm seeing that. So thankfully most of my team is faster, but he does have the option of webs, as he goes for Leech Seed with his Whimsicott on my switch into my Nidoqueen, but I get my rocks up, and that's really big because his defoggers are Tornadus, Hydreigon, and this, but based off of being Leech Seed sub, I would guess that this is probably not going to be defog, so he's going to have to take some damage to defog, but rocks are really nice against this team. So, goes for Moonblast. I expect the Leech Seed, so I go into my Serperior, but instead goes for Taunt, but that's perfectly fine with me, as I can just Leaf Storm, as he shows to be slower, and I do break the sub though, despite not having the boost yet, and I go for another Leaf Storm as he goes straight into Hydreigon, so that definitely leads me to believe that this is Scarfed, since obviously I can 2-hit KO from this range. But he's actually Z, so I guess he was just sacking it off, and so he went for his Z move as I would switch into, it would kill the Superior as well as the Tapu Fini that I switched in, so, you know, good fake out on me. Speaking of fake out mons, but I don't think I'd like ever run fake out on Megalopony. But power up punch to kill this, so now I'm a huge threat to anything coming in. As in comes the Whimsicott. I know it has Moonblast, but I'm faster, so I can just go for return. It does not kill, unfortunately, but it does a ton, and he actually goes for Leech Seed, so wanting me to not get taken down, I guess. And so goes for sub as I go for Drain Punch, which does break the sub because I am +1. And so if he wants to keep subbing up, that's fine, but I go for return this time, expecting him not to want to do that, since clearly it's not going to really end well because eventually he has to switch out. And so goes into the Mega Aggron. I cannot kill this, so I'm going to go into my Nidoqueen, as it actually goes for T-Wave, so that works out perfectly as I go for Earth Power. I get the crit, which does help a lot, but this is very bulky, so I go for T-Bolt to follow it up on the Araquanid, as he's actually Wakan Berry, so it doesn't do a whole lot as webs go up. So now this Darmanitan is going to be more of an issue, and in it comes. So yeah, I have to sack something because my quote-unquote switch-in is already dead, and now that it's in, it's not gonna switch out because of rocks. So I'm gonna just go for Leaf Storm, as I'm now +1 speed, so I'm actually faster than everything. And in comes the Aggron. I know it has Thunder Wave, but I'm gonna just go for the Leaf Storm, as he actually goes for Heavy Slam instead of the Thunder Wave, which I think was definitely a misplay on his part. But it didn't really matter to me if I got paralyzed, because the last mon is Tornadus, so I guess he saw it the same way, was it doesn't really matter. But that just lets my Superior finish the game. And so definitely glad that we came back strong. Just facing webs just lets Superior wins, apparently, so glad that we are now back to a positive record at 5-4, but we need do what we can now to continue that, so I'll be right back with next week's game. And we are back with week 10 against Zwoops and the Detroit Pyroar. She is the reason that I've loved CSML so far, so I'm always glad to face her, and she is also at least I would say, like, throughout the two that we've played twice before, so it's not a whole lot of experience, but there's always added incentive to try to beat her, because we shit talk throughout the season. We always talk about the games we have, the prep, and definitely anytime I have a set that I'm really proud of, I always send it to her for her validation or like thoughts. So definitely big deal to me here to try to take her on anytime I battle her. And she won the first season that I joined the majors of this league, so she definitely is a huge threat, and I cannot take her lightly. So she has decided to bring the Zydog, Latios, Cobalion, Roserade, Vikavolt, and the Magmortar, because she pussied out and didn't bring Mega Tyranitar against my Lycanroc that gets all the boosts in the world from Sand. So obviously very understandable, but I told her she needed to bring it because then Lycanroc would just 6-0 her. And I told her in general though that Lycanroc just takes the team from behind, and for that matter, I want to, you know, if I can, I want Lycanroc to get as many kills as possible. So that does affect how I'm going to play, but I'm still trying to win. Like, don't get that wrong. Like, I'm trying to win here, but Lycanroc, if I can, gets as many kills as possible. And since it is the star here, I am saying rush in case she, decided to bring Mega Tyranitar, but there's no way it was coming. Stone Edge, Swords Dance, Accelerock, Brick Break, like Cadmium Z, pretty standard, but very effective. Adamant for that boosted attack to do all the damage I can. Then Life Orb Superior, needed the extra damage output. Not just grass moves, since I usually always go for that Miracle Seed, but Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, Hidden Power Fire, Synthesis, pretty standard coverage. Then Life Orb Jolteon, since the ground type is Psydog, I'm not that worried, so I bring Hidden Power Fighting instead, just to make sure that I could bait in the Tyranitar, because I do have obvious ways of beating the Tyranitar, but Jolteon is not one of those. So if it did come, I didn't want it to be too problematic. So if I am max speed, then it cannot Dragon Dance up and become an issue. And also I'm faster than everything on her team. And I figured Shadow Ball would do the damage on Psydog. Then we have Mega Lopunny, extremely standard. Ice Punch, so I don't have to risk missing because I didn't really need the fourth move anyway. We're going with the Toxic Protect Flamethrower Energy Ball, Celesteela, fully Fizz Def to do what I can, just to cover the team more or less. And then we have a bulky, not bulky, sorry. Last time was bulky. We have Aerial Ace, Bug Bite, Roost, U-Turn, just kind of utility attacking, but it's also bulky, because of the UV light, but not as bulky as the Swords Dance one. To just kind of be nice coverage, and it is kind of my only, that and Superior are really my only switch-ins to Psydog, but 1000 Arrows on flying types is always neutral first, so don't resist immediately, so it's kind of meh. Superior is mostly, but it's a combination work here. Psydog is definitely the biggest threat against me, but I think I can play around it. We'll have to see how that goes, but she leads off with the Vikavolt. I lead off with Scyther. Easy U-turn for me. I can then pivot into my Jolteon here, as she does go for that safe Volt Switch, but this is my only electric switch in, so that's gonna be something I'll have to be careful of. I'm gonna Volt Switch. I know she has Psydog, but I don't think she'll switch it directly in, but obviously we both thought the same about each other there. So I go into my Celesteela here, as it does reveal to be Life Orb Psydog, and so I can live the 2000 arrows, but it's gonna hurt. So I'm gonna go for Energy Ball. Obviously I wish I had HP Ice in this scenario, but what are you gonna do? And so I do have to switch out now, because obviously 1000 arrows will kill, as she actually gets a crit on the Superior, so that does really suck, because obviously crit did 43, but I still can live another, so not the worst case. So I'm just gonna go straight for the Leaf Storm though, because I need damage off on something. Like, my defensive approach is not working out so far, so I can then go into my Jolteon on the, not sure what this is going to do, but I don't really have fire resist, so I just switch in. I should be able to live one hit, but goes for Flame Charge, which is interesting, and then Fire Blast, which I do live, but Shadow Ball does take me out, so that's fine, as I can just pick this off now. I don't know what she wants to do, but does reveal the Mach Punch, which is very clever. Obviously not physically, or fully physically offensive, or like anything crazy, so that's one kill for Lycanroc. But Latias comes in, Draco. I'm kind of sacking the Celesteela, but it's, it's whatever. I didn't really predict anything there. As Thunderbolt comes out, I'm not gonna switch out, because at this point it's just taking Life Orb damage, which is really nice, and I know it's not choice, so it's good to good to know. Gives me the free U-turn with my Scyther, as she switches into the Cobalion. Makes perfect sense, but this lets me bring in Lopunny, which I don't think she really has a great switch into Lopunny at all. And so I can just go straight for the fighting move, high jump kick. Great, as now I'm gonna go for the Ice Punch, doesn't really do a whole lot, unfortunately. But I can follow it up with a return. But since this is pretty bulky, it does take it pretty well. I definitely should have gone for 2 returns, but I definitely just clicked a move that was super effective. I didn't think about the Vikavolt coming in, so that's definitely a misplay on my part, but oh well, we can just keep switching around as she Volt switches with Vikavolt. I'm U-turning out with the, what's it called? Wow, I have Scyther. But I get my Lycanroc in, and I can just keep brick breaking. So so what happened kind of there was, I'm actually going to back it up real quick, because that went a little too fast here. The turn of events here is, yeah, Roserade comes in. I think it's Scarfed because it comes in. So I go into my Scyther. I should be able to take a hit. As I'm U-turning out though, because there's no way you want to risk that Roserade dying. So I go straight into Lycanroc here. This is faking, you know, that I have the Phytanium Seed, but I don't have that. I have the Lycanium Seed. So I just go for the regular Brick Break. You know, expecting, if she does stay in, I still want to hit it. But I knowing her, I felt like she was going to scout. So then I get the kill on the Vikavolt. That's kill number 2. As then I can switch into my Serperior on this, and since she went for Iron Head, I was able to get some damage off. I mean, if she went for close combat, it would have been minus defense. So now it's actually in range of Brick Break, which is amazing, because now that's a 3rd kill, and we're at 3-3. Definitely a tough endgame here though, because Zydog is just eating me alive as I go into my quote-unquote resist, like, awkward situation. But yeah, I die to this Zydog, but it's down to 20%. I have to hope that it maybe dies to Life Orb. Like, I don't really have a way of beating it easily. Like, I can go for Ice Punch here. It does about the same as return, so don't need to risk anything crazy. I mean, either way, it didn't matter. And then now this is Scarfed, so I can't do anything about that. I have to stay in. And now it's Scarfed into Sludge Bomb, because that was the only thing that would kill me, I'm assuming, on her side, and be able to potentially threaten this. I have to go for Z move here. It kills both Mons, and so now it's down to Lycanroc and the Zydog. I go for Accelerock just hoping to get the, you know, I think it's a roll, but I don't get the roll as she goes for 1,000 arrows, which if she did go for E-Speed, it would not have killed me. So she makes the correct play. And so if that play right there with Lycanroc versus Zygarde or Zydog, I could have won with her clicking E-Speed, or potentially getting an Accelerock roll. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say it could have been a roll. I mean, it lived on 2%, who knows? But either way, we lose 0-0, but it was a hard-fought battle. It always is with Swoops, and Lycanroc got 5 kills. So starting to kind of develop. If I'm not, winning, it's okay. I'm trying to have fun, and one thing that's really fun to me is getting Lycanroc a bunch of kills, because at this point it's close to the top of the leaderboard now with this 5 kill, 1 death performance. So that's definitely a goal for the last couple of games. But playoffs are still potentially in reach, but I am 5-5, so that does make it very difficult. So with that, I'll be back with week 11. And we are back with week 11 against my good friend Moxie. We have some history in that we were in a league. It was forever ago. I mean, at least it feels like that. It's I don't even think I was in most of any of the leagues that I'm currently in now at that time. So it has been quite a while since we had last battled, but it's good to be able to battle him again. He's very good, and at least in the context of this season, he's, I think, the top seed at this point in our conference, whereas I am now 5 and 5, just kind of fighting for my life. So it's definitely a difficult task to have to face him this late in the season. But just because he has a good record does not mean I am scared, and I have beaten him before, so I'm hoping I can beat him again. And he decided to bring the Cresselia, Licky, Mega Altaria, Nidoking, Hitmonchan, and Oricorio Pom-Pom. I brought a Mega Lopunny with High Jump Kick, Return, Power Punch, Toxic. Pretty standard. Miracle Seed once again, Leaf Storm, Hidden Power Ground, Leech Seed, Synthesis. Then we have Black Glasses, Zoroark with Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Sucker Punch, U-Turn. Then we have extremely standard Lycanium Z, Lycanroc, Stone Edge, Drill Run, Accelerock, Swords Dance. Always want to get kills with Lycanroc as best as we can, since it's towards the top of the leaderboard. Choice Scarfed Tapu Fini. This one's an interesting one. Moonblast, Surf, Nature's Madness, Trick. It does outspeed Mega Altaria at +1, so that is, definitely something to note for me, as well as I have a mostly specially defensive Iron Maiden Celesteela here with Heavy Slam, Earthquake, Leech Seed substitute. So I think that, at least in my team looks scarier than his, just because he's brought some lower tier mons, but that does not mean they are any less threatening. My team generally is kind of weak to fighting, so Mach Punch is an issue to my to 3 of my offensive mons here in Lycanroc, Zoroark, and Mega Lopunny, so I know Hitmonchan's a threat, and electric types have been giving me problems all season, so Oricorio's a big threat too, so this is going to be a difficult matchup, but we're going to do what we can here, as I'm going to, he's going to lead with the Nidoking, as I lead off with the Lycanroc, just to see if I can potentially get a quick, huge amount of damage off or something like that, as I go into my Fini on the Earthquake, and I double out into my Celesteela, as he goes to Licky, goes for the Swords Dance, so it could have Fire Punch, not sure, Thunder Punch, something like that, but I'm gonna go for Sub to check, because I was faster. But he switches right into the Oricorio, as he's actually gonna go for a Sub of his own, as this dodges the Leaf Seed that I went for, so that's not ideal, but I'm gonna Heavy Slam it the next turn. Break it Sub. This, I'm so much heavier than this thing. So he actually goes for Calm Mind, which can be very scary, especially because my Sub doesn't break it. So he EV'd it, and I didn't put any attack, so it works perfectly into his hands. Now this is just setup fodder. So Revelation Dance comes out. I have to Heavy Slam again to finally make the Sub fade, but I'm screwed. This is gonna get a set up all at once, so I have to just kind of hope that he wants to just kill me, or just find out what moves he has. If he has Roofs, that's a real big problem. So he's just Calm Minding up, but I am pretty specially defensive, so I should be able to potentially still live one from here, but either way, I'm just hoping he kind of kills me at this point. But I'm actually, since he's clearly intent on setting up, I'm actually going to go straight into my Lopunny to just get rid of its Sub altogether. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Just kidding, I faked myself out. It's Zoroark. I Dark Pulse because I'm Black Glasses, it kills it. God, I'm dumb. I fooled myself. But yes, I went for Dark Pulse, obviously broke its Sub. Now I can go to Lycanroc or Lopunny. I choose Lycanroc, obviously, as he actually goes straight into the Nidoking on my Swords Dance, because it's not what I expected to go into. So I'm assuming it's Scarf at this point, so I'm just gonna switch out into my Celesteela, as I can go for the Leech Seed. Nothing really wants to come in on a Leech Seed, and that Devil or Oricorio, I'm gonna go straight into my Lopunny here in case the Oricorio comes out, because now I'm afraid of it, as he actually goes for Thunder Punch, but that works out fine. I'm Limber, I can't get paralyzed, as now it's gonna make the obvious switch to Crest, so I Toxic it. Like that's everyone switches in their Psychic type on Mega Lopunny. So That allows me to then go into my Celesteela, but he predicts that correctly going into his Oricorio, and now we're back to what we got before, is I'm actually going to go into my Superior. And the reason I go into Superior is because if I boost up enough, I can break subs. But I find out I'm actually not contrary. So that's really bad. I brought the wrong ability, and now he misses the Hurricane. It would not have killed, but it would have done a ton of damage. But at this point, I'm like, screw it, you might as well. As I go into my Lycanroc, I go for Accelerock, I don't want to miss. As he gets the Revelation Dance off, it does almost half. So that means my Sword Dancing ability will be not there much longer, but I go straight into my Finny. As he actually goes into his Hitmonchan here, and I crit the Hitmonchan and kill it. If this is Assault Vest of any kind, I literally cannot kill it without a crit. And even if it, and he does in fact say it is Assault Vest, but I had to get him like a max roll because no bulk actually no bulk investment Assault Vest actually yeah, it actually only barely dies if I get a high roll on the crit. But I missed the Leech Seed with Superior on the incoming Mega Altaria. This is an uphill battle now that I know that my Serp is very weak. Leech Seed is the best thing it can do, really, and so I'm just Leech Seed spamming. That's really all I figure I can do at this point. And switch around because this thing has Fire Blast, and it's not quite killing me, so I'm glad that I'm living, but I have to kind of stall it out a bit. So he goes for Hyper Voice in case I go for sub, makes sense. But that means I'm still gonna live, and so I can go for the Synthesis this time. Honestly, I'm PP stalling it Fire Blast at this point because I don't know what else to do. I have an Overgrowth Serp, so I go for Leaf Storm, hoping that does enough damage to where maybe might not roost. I don't know, maybe switch. Who knows, man? I have an Overgrowth Serp. What am I supposed to do? So I'm just going for Leech Seed because I don't want him to switch out, but he's making a smart play, just keeping his Altaria healthy since he knows I can't do any damage. And so now I'm gonna Synthesis up on the expected Fire Blast. It does do a ton of damage, but I'm living. I'm staying alive, just barely. Keeping my Serp as healthy as I can, even though it can't freaking boost up. But I expect him to expect my either Finny or Celesteela, so I stay in, because again, I don't really value this. But as this is going on, I'm realizing actually this has a chance to, you know, this is really doing work with Leech Seed. So I mean, if I had Contrary, it would be really nice, and this game would be a lot different. But then again, I dodged a Hurricane and crit the Hitmonchan, so who knows? That's all Theriumon, as well as that's all my fault for it not being Contrary. But we're back to Altaria. Superior fun, where I'm just Leech Seeding and surviving hits. But he's going for Hyper Voice, so now this lets me heal up my Celesteela a little bit and potentially threaten this out, but I'm not sure what he wants to do. If he wants to stay in and Fire Blast, this covers it. So I go to my Finny, get some health on the Finny, which also can do a lot of work since it is indeed Scarfed, and it does seem to me that he's not expecting to be faster than my Finny. He's expecting me to be, you know, a faster Scarfer, which would make sense based off of the base speeds, but I don't know. I don't remember if I actually EV'd it even correctly for that. But yeah, I take a big return. Not happy about that with Serp, so I go out into my Lopunny and I overpredict. I go for return, and that kind of kills off my chances here a little bit, because, or at least it definitely hurts, because I expected the crest to come in, but there was no reason for me to predict that. That was just poor play on my part. And I go for Drill Run again, over predicting. And yeah, he goes for Power Up, and my Lycanroc set. So now I'm like, really, well, what the heck? This is terrible. So, really, really bad. I messed up this game. Like, I still had a chance to win, you know, not necessarily that I was going to win. Like, that's I had a lot of work ahead of me, but to even try. But yeah, this game's over now. I do get the plus speed F, but again, he can just sit up. So this is not going to end well. You know, I'll speed up till, hey, does a +1 Revelation Dance, does laughable damage, but he can just keep setting up. But it doesn't seem like he has Roost, actually. As we're going on with this, it's or he definitely doesn't have Roost, sorry. He showed Hurricane Revelation Dance sub called mine. So that, man, that makes me regret this even more, that this is not contrary. And he misses another Hurricane. It's like, wow. I mean, this game's over, but like, like if I was boosting, I actually, you know, had a good shot, I think, you know, in hindsight, but obviously I had hacks help me, so I did what I could for the most part, but made some poor plays as well as just got out prepped clearly. So definitely deserved to lose this game. Moxie definitely deserved to win, and that kind of that doesn't necessarily put me out of the playoffs, but it makes it really difficult for me to make it. So unfortunately, it looks like playoffs are not happening, but the last goal is get Lycanroc to the top of the leaderboard. So that is my goal for week 12 above winning. But if, you know, winning still gives me a chance to, you know, make playoffs, of course, I'm still going to try to win, but Lycanroc getting kills, because it didn't in this one, because I over-predicted. I let down Lycanroc for sure here, and I hope next time we battle Moxie that it's not super hacksy like this one was. It was terrible. So I hope for my sake that well, both of our sakes really, that I give you a better game, because I didn't even check my superior to make sure it was contrary. So that's on me, and I know I want to give you the best battles because I love battling against friends, and he's definitely a great battler. So he definitely deserves my best shot. And I'll be right back. And we are back with the regular season finale and potentially the last game in the CSL, as this is the final season. Or last game for me, I should say. Not the last game of the CSL. Strokefish is in the other conference. He is coach of the Beijing Bohemians. He needs to not lose like 5-0 or something like that, and then makes playoffs. So I am still taking this very seriously. I'm not gonna just meme around when playoffs are at stake still. So I do want to give my best effort, and I generally do in every battle anyway, and I suck at memeing. But more importantly to me, Lycanroc needs to get some kills. Needs to get some kills to make sure that it can be the top Pokemon, and then I will feel better about this season, because obviously I'm now at 5-6, not the record I would want. If we can get to 500, great. If not, hopefully Lycanroc comes through. But we are facing Thundurus T, Mega Houndoom, Conkeldurr, Chinchino, Necrozma, and Sakataka, while we have Life Orb, Nidoqueen with missing EVs. Jeez, I'm terrible. I really hope I didn't bring that and I brought like a real one, but this is whatever was in my team builder. Definitely missing EVs, but it's an offensive Toxic Spikes. Nidoqueen, we have a High Jump Kick, Return, Power Punch, Toxic, you know, always standard Mega Lopunny, Colbur Berry, Hidden Power Ground, Stealth Rock, Mesprit, which Hidden Power Ground can work for either the Mega Houndoom, Colbur Berry as well for that, or the Sakataka, as well as Colbur Berry could be used for the Conkeldurr. Since I don't have a lot of bulk, but I'm, you know, because Mesprit is naturally bulky, should be okay. Then we have Miracle Seed for the millionth time. Superior, Leaf Storm, Hidden Power Ice, Giga Drain, Synthesis. Standard as always being that I like to be mostly HP invested. over special attack. And then we have Choice Banded Lycanroc with Stone Edge, Zen Headbutt, Brick Break, Excel Rock. It covers the team pretty well. I'm thinking this will give me the best chance to get kills. And looking at the team he brought, I think I was correct in that manner because I didn't see a really great time to set up. So I think, you know, picking off something as a banded and then getting out might be the best. And then Rockium Z, a physically offensive Autotomize Celesteela with Heavy Slam, Stone Edge superpower. So definitely threatened a lot by the Houndoom, considering it's faster than most of my team. But I do have ways to revenge it pretty easily, and same with the Chinchino potentially. But I might have one switch in, and Celesteela, but I'm offensive, so we'll have to see. And then obviously Trick Room would suck. That Stack Attack is a threat under Trick Room, no matter what your team is, really. So going into this battle, he leads off with Thunderous T. I lead off with my Mesprit. Rocks would be very nice. This is his Defogger if he has it, as I take the Thunderbolt just to get my rocks up. So now I'm going to go into my Superior. I don't expect him to go for something that would hit this very well, other than maybe Hidden Power Ice. But he just goes for Thunderbolt again. And he goes for his Z move here, but it's actually Gigavolt Havoc, so I do live, thankfully. Since I am quite bulky, as I can just then synthesis up, as now I'm +2. Goes for Thunderbolt again. Doesn't do a whole lot. Obviously, he doesn't have anything he wants to switch in. So I'm just going to boost up again. And he goes for Psychic. I don't know why he wasn't going for it before, to be honest. But whatever, I'll take it. I'm, though, very weakened, as now Houndoom can come in. And it can just Mega Evolve and kill me with any move it wants to go for. I don't want to switch it out because I have nothing for this. My Colberberrymon is weakened anyway, so in comes Mega Lopunny, and here comes Stack Attack. I went for Toxic because I expected Necrozma, and obviously great prediction, and then goes for Protect, so knows that I ran High Jump Kick a lot, and I guess this is the best way that he's gonna deal with me. But now I can just High Jump Kick the next turn. I mean, weird set of plays, but I guess it worked out. I'm now at half, but I'm gonna stay in and go for Toxic on the Necrozma because Necrozma can be a huge threat, as he actually goes straight for the Calm Mind. So I'm glad I was able to get the status off. And now I'm just gonna go for Return. I need to just I just need to weaken this, in all honesty. Like I want Celesteela or Lycanroc to get this kill. Like, Celesteela can win, potentially, so that's why I mentioned it, but realistically, Lycanroc gets this kill, obviously. Like, I could just go straight for Stone Edge, so actually at this point, I only need to either get one more kill, and then I'm okay if I die, or I need to, not die. Because then I'd have I'm sure I'm tied for the lead, but I'd have more kills and one more death than the other Mon, being Kyurem Black. So I go into my Nidoqueen, since it's my only fighting switch in, and unfortunately it goes down, but I do some damage. But then I go into my Celesteela, as then I am going for Heavy Slam, trying to get the kill to get the boost, or not to get the boost, just to get rid of the threat, but it doesn't kill. So then I switch out into my my Mesprit on the what's it called, the Mach Punch, because I'm not very bulky, and I probably could have lived, but I wasn't really sure. And so then I go into my Celesteela on the Chinchino, except for it's not choiced, so it kills both the Mesprit and this, and now it's it looks like I'm not going to be able to get the kills here. And so, okay, hold up, I'm backing this up. Hold on, some memories just came back. So he kills me here. So this is game over. you know, I lose, I'm not gonna get another kill with Lycanroc, and it's not gonna be top Mon. But he knows that. This has been talked about in the chat. Lycanroc needs one more kill because it's going to die. And so what he tries to do, he said, I told him, you know, I'm banded, you know, I can't do it, I lose. And he says, okay, then go for Stone Edge. But I don't want to do it that way, so I actually go for Zen Headbutt as he switches into Mega Houndoom. But Strokefish is, you know, smart enough to realize, okay, well, I can just Dark Pulse and get the damage off and maybe kill you, but since it didn't kill, oh, actually, go into the Chinchino as it dies to the Zen Headbutt. So Lycanroc does in fact get the kill and become the kill leader. But then obviously we lose here since I'm locked in Zen Headbutt, I can't kill it. And so Lycanroc does finish. That is one of our goals. We do finish 5 and 7, but more importantly, when I remember this season, Lycanroc will be remembered, and that it was just amazing. I enjoyed it very much. I very fond of Lycanroc. The normal form now, it's a huge threat, and it was a lot of fun to use. CSL was very fun. You know, had my ups, had my downs. Made the playoffs 1 out of 3 seasons. Not what I'd like to do, but I hate the drafting system. So I feel like I had to get more comfortable with the drafting system first before I could do anything. So it did take. That first season went pretty poorly. Second season went very well, I would say. Overall, it, you know, could have gone better, but made the playoffs, so that's usually all I can ask for. And then this season, unfortunately, didn't make the playoffs, but had Lycanroc, you know, get to the top of the kills, and I had fun. And that's what, you know, that's the most important thing. That's what I'm always going to remember the most, is that CSL had a group of great people, and I had a lot of fun. That's why I was there for 3 seasons, and, you know, I talked to Zwoops many times about it, about the, you know, just the league in general, being that it was a really fun community, and that I have been a league whore, so it's hard for me to stick around in leagues especially if I win or if I make the playoffs. Usually I'm like, okay, well, I'm content. And if it's a community that I don't like, then I leave. But obviously, most of the stuff that I'm posting here on YouTube are leagues that I've, you know, really enjoyed, or, you know, obviously I'm posting it for a reason here. I gotta actually record it, so it's a, you know, labor of love here that I don't want doing YouTube to be a chore. And, you know, I stopped posting a lot of these games because just Pokemon was becoming a chore. Not necessarily this league, but I was becoming burnt out with being a league whore. So just sneaking this in this video, I guess. But that closes my season 10 of CSL. I'm, you know, lucky to have been a member for seasons 8, 9, and 10. You know, made some good friends here. Reconnected with one in the last season, and got to use a bunch of fun ones. So overall, great experience, and I'm, you know, definitely looking forward to battling these great people in other capacities, maybe in, you know, other leagues, tournaments, whatever it may be. Glad to do it, and glad to have been, you know, part of this great league that made it 10 seasons. So with that, I will say my final goodbye to the competitive Showdown League. Bye!